أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Alhamdulillah. If a person is shown their place in the hell or heaven, what is the point of the day of judgment? Are you shown the mistakes you repented for? Well, don't forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives people. So a judge can, just like in dunya, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلَ الْأَعْلَى, Allah has the highest analogies, but in dunya, judges can pardon, governors can pardon. So somebody might be condemned, and that's what they deserve, but they get pardoned. And then how can one tell a mutawatir hadith from non-mutawatir? Mutawatir hadith are identified by the number of narrators in each generation. So there's a difference of opinion about how many, but it's a number that's necessary, more than 10 in each generation, to where they could not have conspired to lie about it. It's just not possible. They could have all lied about it. And do you know of any book in English that has the mutawatir hadith? No, there's 3 published. Imam Suyuti did a famous book on the mutawatir hadith. Imam al-Kattani has a book on the mutawatir hadith that's very good. So there are books on mutawatir hadith that you can get. There's also a book that has hadiths that are that the 6 collections agree on, which is also another very strong. When they all agree on a hadith that it's sahih, it has a strength that. What are the 3 intentions for which you should read Yasin tonight? This is a Ba'alawi tradition. They do the first one is for a long life and ibadah, and the second one is protection from calamities, and then the third one is to be freed of need of only Allah and be independent of the need of others. So in provision, things like that you don't need anybody except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How do you recommend we internalize this aqidah? It feels theoretical. If it feels theoretical, it's because it is theoretical. I mean, that's exactly what this is. It's theory. That's what it is, and that's why iman is here in the heart. If you want to increase your iman, this stuff is to protect you from going into any deviant beliefs. That's all. Because you can find deviant beliefs, but what he's writing in here, he's saying, look, know this. You don't have to memorize it. It's good. I mean, I memorized a couple of creeds by rote. It was just that's the way I learned. But as long as you know the meanings. I mean, I would recommend reading. I read this every once in a while, just to read it. It's good to read these things, to be reminded. We're also, we recorded a beautiful Qari, Amr Ballaha, who's a Moroccan, he was award-winning Moroccan Quran reciter. So we recorded him reciting the whole Tahawiyah with Tajweed, with the Ahkam of Tajweed. It's a beautiful recitation. And then I recited it in English, so there's a CD that's going to be available with the book. And for people that want to memorize it. In terms of internalizing it, know the meanings and then begin to live the meanings. So when things happen, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Don't get internally disquieted by the world. There's always, don't have fear of provision. Purification of the heart, some of the things in there help people also with their iman. But ultimately, iman is a light in the heart. And iman is increased. وَرُجِّحَتْ زِيَادَةُ الْإِيمَانِ بِمَا تَزِيدُ طَاعَةُ الْإِنسَانِ وَنَقْصُهَا بِنَقْصِهِ وَقِيلَ لَا وَقِيلَ لَا خُلْفَ كَذَا قَدْ نُقِلَ. That iman, Imam al-Laqani says, the preferred opinion is iman increases with acts of ta'ah, it diminishes with acts of disobedience. And so if you want to increase your iman, do acts of obedience. Your iman is probably higher after this 3 weeks than it was when you first came in. That's because you've been in a good state surrounded by believers and Ahlul Kitab. So minhum min mu'minun, Quran says minhum min mu'minun, among them are believers, right? وَأَكْثَرَهُمْ الْفَاسِقُونَ. How do you reconcile Allah being the most merciful with the concept of hellfire? It's an excellent question. Imam Ibn Hazm wrote a whole book on it. His conclusion was pretty radical. I don't agree with it. But Allah shows mercy to those who show mercy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, in the Hadith, which is called al-musalsal bil-awwaliyah. It's the first Hadith that's transmitted in the Hadith tradition. There's awwaliyah bil-idafa and bil-haqiqa. So even if it's not the first Hadith you heard, it's generally the first Hadith that ulama will give you. You might have heard it from somebody else, but it's the Hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said, "Irhamu, man fil ard yarhamkum man fis sama. Ar-rahimun yarhamuhum ar-rahman. Irhamu man fil ard yarhamkum." And in a riwayat yarhamukum, but one is for dua and the other is it's a, you have a shart. Irhamu man fil ard yarhamkum man fil. If you do this will happen. So it's a jumla shartiyya, it's majzoom bi shart. The other one is a marfu' ala dua. So it's saying yarhamukum Allah, may Allah have mercy on you. So but irham man fil ard yarhamkum. Irhamu man fil ard yarhamukum man fis sama. Have mercy on those in the earth. And man is sighat al-umum. Everybody, have mercy on everybody. Even Imam Malik said that jihad is a rahmah. It's not meant to be adab. It's a rahmah for people. You don't go out with vengeance, and Bible says vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. This is true. Islam is not about intiqam, and it's about adala, but rahmah is more important even than adala. And the Prophet was ra'uf and rahim. And he was al-rahmah lil-alameen. His specific rahmah is for the believers, but he had universal rahmah for everybody. And he said, "La tu'minu hatta tarahamu." None of you truly believes, and you will not truly believe until you show mercy amongst each other. And one of the Sahaba said, "Kuluna rahimun ya Rasulullah." All of us are merciful. Ruhama'u bainahum. That's how Allah described them. Ruhama'u bainahum. They're merciful amongst each other. So the Sahaba said, "We're all merciful." He said, "Laysat rahmatu ahadikum li sahibihi." I'm not talking about the mercy that you have towards people you like. وَلَكِنَّهَا رَحْمَةُ النَّاسِ رَحْمَةُ الْعَامَّةِ. It's mercy for humanity. It's universal mercy. Right? That's what the Prophet ﷺ was talking about. Universal mercy, not specific mercy. It's easy to love people that love you. It's hard to do good to people that don't do good to you. Idfa' billati hiya ahsan. In Morocco, when they get angry, right? Billati, like they tell people, billati, just slow down. From billati hiya ahsan, don't get angry, billati. Right? Billati hiya ahsan. Idfa' billati hiya ahsan. Repel a wrong with what's better than a wrong. The Prophet said, "Atbi' as-sayyi'a al-hasana tamhuha." Follow up wrong deeds with good deeds, and it'll obliterate the wrong deeds. It'll obliterate them. And that works both ways. Somebody does a wrong to you, do it right to them. And it has a negative effect. It nullifies the negative effect. In terms of Allah's mercy, He's Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. That's how He described Himself. The Prophet ﷺ said that Allah sent down one portion of rahmah to the earth. He has 100 portions of rahmah, Allah. And He sent one portion of rahmah down to the earth, and with that portion, every act of mercy comes from that portion of rahmah. So every mother that nurtures her child, every person that does acts of kindness, all the mercy in the world. He said even a mare, when it raises its hoof in order not to step on her foal, that is from that rahmah. So every act of rahmah in the world comes from that one portion, from the beginning of time until the end of time. So just imagine all the rahmah in human history. Every act of mercy, that's only 1/99th of what Allah has saved for His creation on Yawm al-Qiyamah. It's not, you can't imagine it. So, I mean, I didn't really go into ikhlaf al-wa'id. Did I go into that? Ikhlaf al-wa'id. Did I talk about that? I mean, the ulama generally don't like to talk about it, I think, because they like to keep people scared. So, and it's good. Being scared is good. Little children, it's good. The boogeyman's going to get you. Better go to sleep. I appreciate Muawiyah as a companion, but didn't his actions divide the Islamic nation and led to a terrible war? Shouldn't he be slightly blameworthy? Again, innamal a'malu binniyat. All we're doing is what he did was wrong. It was incorrect ijtihad. It did split the community. It caused a lot of bloodshed. A lot of bad things happened. But all we're saying is that we're having a good opinion of his intention. That's the difference. So the Shia look at his outward actions and they say it's blameworthy, so we're going to say his intention was bad. The Sunnis say the outward actions were blameworthy, but his intention was good, and he was making an ijtihad, which was that the people who killed Uthman needed to be brought to trial. And so it's just a different, but we don't, Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he was actually he was Halim, Muawiyah. He was a very forbearing person. Sha'ratu Muawiyah is very well known. His diplomacy, he said that he always, in every relationship he ever had, he said he always kept a hair between them. He said if they إذا كان يرخي يشتد. If they loosened up, he would pull, and if they pulled, he would loosen up. He said never break a relationship. Just keep a hair there. Never break a relationship. So Muawiyah was, and he related hadith. He was, we have a good opinion of him. Radiallahu anhu. How are we meant to understand the argument between Abu Bakr and Fatima? Because Fatima didn't know the hadith that Abu Bakr knew. If Abu Bakr wasn't doing something to make her angry, he was following the Sharia, and she got upset about it. But Sayyidina Ali, there was definitely problems. There's undeniable. There were problems. The Sunni version is whitewashed to a certain degree, I think, and the Shia version is distorted also to a certain degree. There are definitely problems in that early period. But Ali took bay'ah with Sayyidina Abu Bakr, not out of tuqya. It was 6 months, there was a period. I mean, there was definitely some troubles in Medina. But he took bay'ah with him. He was in his council. He was in the council of Umar. He married the daughter of Umar. It's just, a lot of stuff just doesn't make sense. So they all, and Fatima died, very quickly after the Prophet ﷺ died, 6 months. Does the Prophet await those who have been punished in hellfire at the Hawd upon their entry into paradise? There's different, he intercedes, and people are a lot of people are spared even going in for any short period of time. But the Prophet ﷺ, there's a hadith that he intercedes, and then his people intercede, and then finally there's no one left to intercede. Allah takes those that have even a mustard's weight of faith in their hearts out of the hellfire. So that's in Al-Bukhari. Can you provide the name of the book you were quoting about the end of time? It's something I wrote myself, so I haven't published that yet. It's actually a glossary to the Tahawiyah that I haven't finished. So on the hadith in the Muslim where Allah sends Jibril to ask the Prophet the question, does this contradict the verse in Surah An-Najm that he does not talk from his desire? مَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى. It doesn't contradict that at all. مَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى just means that he doesn't speak people speak from their hidden, people have ulterior motives when they speak. Like in our culture, we say, I love you, man. It's like they want something from you, right? My kids do that all the time, right? So, that's speaking from your hawa. The Prophet ﷺ never did that because he had no ulterior motives. All he wanted was salvation for people. He didn't want anything from anybody. He had no hidden desires, nothing. Prophet ﷺ was an open book. He lived a life, open book. He's the most transparent life in human history. From all the great people that ever lived, we know more about him than any other human being. We have thousands and thousands of pages of his biography. Thousands of pages of his biography. We have more statements about him. We know exactly how many possessions he had. Exactly. We know how many gray hairs were in his beard when he died. We know his height. We know perfect descriptions. We know the marks on his body. We know, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he ate. We know how often he ate. We know what time of night he got up, when he went to sleep. We know how he went to sleep. We know how he went to the bathroom. We know how he made love to his wife. Everything is known. The Prophet is an open book because لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. You have in the Messenger of Allah the best example in everything that he did. He taught people how to defecate. It's amazing. He taught them how to brush their teeth. He taught them how to floss. This is a prophet who told people to floss their teeth. Take care of your teeth. It's amazing. So everything is there. He's an open book for anybody that wants that guidance in anything. And it's always beautiful guidance. You'll never find anything in his behavior that is offensive. You'll never find anything that is harsh or cruel, or you just won't find it. Challenge anybody. And there's people that try to bring out these hadiths. What amazes me about the Orientalists, whenever there's anything that slightly has any type of, like the numbers of Jews that were killed at Khaybar, they report those like it's historical fact. Even though there's a lot of debate about what happened at Khaybar amongst the Muslims. There's no definitive narrative about Khaybar. But they'll report them, 1,100 killed, undisputed. And then all the hadiths that are beautiful and wonderful, this obviously contrived tale. So it's just amazing the way that they talk about the Prophet ﷺ and the way it's so clear, the animosity that they have, because they report things that are in Sahih al-Bukhari and they try, like that Aisha was 9 years old. They'll report that fact. But then in Sahih al-Bukhari, a stronger hadith, which is much stronger, that the palm tree moaned in the courtyard when he moved away from the palm tree in the masjid. It moaned. Mutawatir hadith. It's like a historical fact. So many people recorded it because they all heard it. But they'll say, this obviously contrived tale. Okay, well just look, if it's contrived, why are you accepting that? Reject the whole thing and just say the whole thing is fabricated. But why do you take that? That's exactly ittiba' al-hawa. That's the essence of following your hawa, is you choose what you want and you reject what you don't want. أَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. You believe in some of it, but you reject others. They do the exact same thing, and Allah rebukes people like that take what they like and leave the rest. It's called eraseia in Greek, heresy, to pick for yourself, to choose what you like and what you don't. That's what heretics do. So reject the whole thing or accept the whole thing. Just reject it all. That's fine. I don't believe it. It's all fabricated. It's all made up. That's fine. And then, we'll all see on Yawm al-Qiyamah. We'll see the moment you die. If it's all black, it's all black. You win. Right? Mr. Dawkins, if it's all black, you win. But if it's not, you lose. And that's why أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. They're the losers. That's exactly what Allah says. They're the losers. Khasirun. It's in the Quran. There's faizun and khasirun. Winners and losers. So that's fine. And the beauty of it is that people that reject Allah, Allah is so merciful with them. He lets them eat, sleep, drink, defecate, urinate, procreate, copulate. They can do everything. And He still takes care of them. Right? It's amazing. So anyway, that's done. I'm done. Mashallah, we're closing, and we're going to have some inshad and things. But a few things. One, this is a great blessing to just be able to come together, because ijtima' is rahmah. Just for believers to come together, 70,000 angels, big angelic presence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves gatherings. He loves a community. He loves husband and wife. He loves union. All those things are blessings. And separation is schism. All those type things are generally pain and suffering. So it's a blessing, but we also, every gathering has to end in a separation. Every gathering has to end in a separation, because it's the nature of dunya. So things come to an end, and it's good. There's good in closure and things like that. So it's been a great blessing for us to be here. It's been a blessing to have Shaykh Faraz Rabbani's wonderful brother. And it's a blessing to have him teaching. He was a student many, many years ago at a rihla just like this. I think it was in Canada. And mashallah, he went off and studied and really worked very hard, and he's achieved, really a lot, great things in his studies, and he studied with a lot of great teachers. So it's a blessing to have him. He's very down to earth, humble person. It's good to see that. And Sidi Yahya also wrote us, who I saw when he first became Muslim, and again he's another person with a lot of himmah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve and protect him. It's a blessing to have him teaching. He has, mashallah, people can see what he has, inshallah. And if you can't, tough luck. But he's a great blessing to our community, and may Allah increase him and increase him on his path and protect him and his family and his children. And Imam Zayd to me, Imam Zayd is he's like for people look at him and see Imam Zayd as small. It's because they're looking at a mountain that's way off in the distance. The closer you get to Imam Zayd, the bigger he gets. And Imam Zayd, mashallah, people that live with Imam Zayd, that spend time with Imam Zayd, they know who Imam Zayd is. And he's very humble. He's disarmingly familiar with people, so they can kind of become a little too familiar with him and think he's one of the guys or something like that. But Imam Zayd is, he's a giant here in the States, and we're very blessed to have him in our community, and his wife also. For people that know Hassan, they're both just really great blessings. And then the people that, Aisha Subhani, may Allah reward her. Also, Nazim Baksh, who's in Canada. I mean, really, Nazim was kind of one of the key people that started this off. Ibrahim Osiafa also, for people that know Ibrahim in England. Ibrahim was actually the first person to invite me over to do an intensive in Liverpool, and from that, mashallah, several of those young men went and now they're teachers themselves. So that was many, many years ago. And so there's been a lot of blessing, a lot of fruit from all these things. But Aisha Subhani, may Allah reward her. She's a physician. She's got 3 children, a husband, and she does all this volunteer. It's just amazing what she does. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase her, reward her, and everybody should dua for her, especially on this night, because, it's real selflessness, and it's just been such a blessing to work with her. And then we have a lot of the people here that have helped Awais Iqbal, giving his time and energy, Lena also, and Ali Bay, Ali Bayad. Is Ali here? Ali. Ali's back there. Ali's mom was the table tennis champion of India, which I think is amazing because that's a country of 1 billion people. So she must have been just unbelievable. But she's a beautiful lady, his mom, mashallah. May Allah reward her for bringing Ali into the world, and his brother also. Ali's been, he's just a blessing to have around, his personality. And then Asma Mirza, may Allah reward you also. She's one of these people that wherever she goes, she's going to do something. It's just, she's one of those people that, and may Allah increase her, and give her himma to really be, we're living in an amazing time for Muslims. The sky's the limit in the United States, in Canada, these places. We just, there's so much to do. The young people that are here, I hope, may Allah inspire you to really commit your lives to doing something for Allah and His Messenger, because everything else is a waste of time. It doesn't mean that you can't be a doctor, but be a doctor for Allah and His Messenger. Don't be a doctor for money. Don't be the doctor like the only cross I believe in is the blue cross. Be somebody who's out there to serve and heal and help people and learn and study. Be good. If you're an engineer, whatever, do something useful in engineering. Don't make meaningless games or defense contract type things where you're building bombs, better bombs to blow people up in better ways. Do something that's of service to people. Whatever you do, if you're going to be a lawyer, don't be a corporate lawyer that ends up being a devil's advocate, literally. Be somebody who's working for law and order, for real law, justice, human justice. Whatever you do, even if you're a taxi driver, be a taxi driver that has something, to give to each person that gets into your car. Wallahi, I've had amazing experiences with taxi drivers. So whatever you do, be somebody who is just gonna, make this place a better place. There's enough people doing damage out there. And we're supposed to be people that are productive, fruitful, healers. The Prophet ﷺ was somebody who brought good into the world. He didn't bring harm into the world. So, and then Asma Rahman also, who volunteered, all these people that volunteered. And then we have Fahim is here, and Fahim's, he has to work. He doesn't have a choice. Because the Mujaddidis, Sayyidina Umar is really going to wring their necks on the Yawm al-Qiyamah. I mean, I just would not want to be a Mujaddidi unless I was working 7 days a week for this religion. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you lots of energy to do that. Because Sayyidina Umar said, Ibn al-Hajj relates this, that he never went to his wife except with the intention to bring forth somebody who served this religion with all his heart. So that was his niyyah for his dhurriya, to people, yujahiduna fi sabilillah. And then Fawzan also, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him, from Toronto. He's been doing the RIS. He's, mashallah, done an incredible amount of work for all of us, and is a dear brother, and one of the people also that works behind the scenes, does a lot more than he gets credit for. And those are the best people, the akhfiya, people that don't, if you get credit, the Mauritanians say, if you do something for Allah and nobody acknowledges it, they say, thabat al-ajr. You're going to get the reward. But when everybody's clapping and mashallah alayk and bravo, and then, that might be the reward. So, if you don't get credit for what you do, it's a blessing from Allah. Because for me, I have a problem of getting more credit than I'm due, and that's a whole other problem, which bothers me. Like Imam Zayd pretty much has taken over Zaytuna College project, and he's done far more than I have done, and he'll eventually get credit for that, but there's people that do things and don't get any credit. Their credit's with Allah. And then As'ad Tarsin, who was here, excellent brother, doctor also, doing a lot of selfless work, volunteer work. And then Hanan Korshi, who did all the brochures, also may Allah reward her. So may Allah reward all these people. May Allah, this group has been a really excellent group. I wish Shaykh Abdullah Al-Qadi was here, because he's just, he adds something always, but unfortunately he was very busy in Oregon, so he couldn't come. Sheikh Abdullah bin Bayya was planning on coming and literally canceled at the last minute for health reasons. So he was intending to be here, but he sent his love and his prayers. And now I have one thing that I really want to ask of all of you, and maybe it's one or two people in here that will take this seriously. But in coming here to this place, the Pearlstone Center, and they've got the picture of Peggy and Jack Pearlstone. Peggy and Jack. So Peggy and Jack are out there, and two people. Maybe it was Peggy that convinced Jack. I don't know, but they built this place and they gave this place to the Jewish community, and mashallah, they've done a beautiful job. And generally, the people here have been very good with us, and we should all thank them for the majority have been very pleasant. Here's what I want. I really want us to think seriously about having a camp. We're thinking about near Louisville, Kentucky, because it's kind of a central place. The property values are pretty inexpensive, and we have very good relations with the Louisville, the government there through Virginia Gray Henry, who's a Muslim, and she's the 8th granddaughter of Patrick Henry, and her great-great-great-great-grandfather was given Louisville by George Washington after the Revolutionary War. So she's like a notable of the city, and she's a Muslim, so she knows everybody there. And but we were thinking of that. But that's not. There are other possibilities. But I really think that we should have a camp by next year. That's what I would like to see. I'm kind of tired of renting places. I'd really like to see the Muslims have a nice camp that we can really develop into a beautiful. I had a dream about it here a couple nights ago of having an archery and Quran camp, and think about that seriously. And then also do something. This religion deserves so much better than it's being given by its own people. And we should be ashamed of ourselves as a community. Wallahi. We should be ashamed of ourselves. We've fallen on hard times, but this religion deserves a lot more. We're not in some dysfunctional, inept part of the Muslim world. We're here in the dysfunctional, inept part of the Western world, as we're watching the financial collapse and a lot of other collapses. But people learn, they can do things here, and that's what Muslims should be doing. I think we should be working at much higher professional levels in our organizations and our commitments. That's what we're committed to. Each year we're trying to get better. People who, if you look at the materials and things, are getting better. But I told Aisha that I want a whole other level next year. I really want a whole other level. I actually want to have career counseling for people. I think, a lot of the young people, we need people to help, do some, I was talking to some of the young people, and then we have a lot of confusion in our community, and there's a lot of young people that really need these experiences. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put that in your hearts to do that. Serving this religion has been the greatest gift that I've had in my life. I've seen amazing things from serving the religion. There's just a great blessing in serving Allah and His Messenger. And the Prophet ﷺ, his entire life was service, everything, and he was his concern and his care for this community was so immense. There was just so much mahabba and so much rahmah and so much love and gentleness and sweetness and welcoming, and like Maulana says, keep coming back, return, just come back to this religion, just keep coming back. Whatever you've done, whatever sins you've committed, whatever, just keep coming back. Come back to Allah. That door is open until you take your last breath. That door that once it's open, you're enveloped in the divine fragrance. Just Allah's rahmah is vast. It is vast, and it's open to everybody. And just let that rahmah permeate your heart, and then be people that want to flood the world with that rahmah, because the Prophet was a rahmah. He was rahmatan lil alameen. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He was only sent as a mercy to all the worlds. And he has been so maligned, so disparaged by his own people and by the people that don't know him. Wallahi, by his own people and by the people that don't know him. He has been so maligned. And we have to defend him by giving this religion so much more than it deserves. That's how we should be defending our Prophet ﷺ. And we can defend him in no better way than just by living up to the expectations that he set for his community, which are very high. The Prophet had a great opinion of people. And he expected great things from people. And his Sahaba are a proof that when you expect great things from people, people do great things. His Sahaba are a proof of his husn al-dhan in them. He had such a good opinion of those people, and our religion is based on good opinion. So I just really hope that all of you sincerely think about your life's course and what you're going to do in your life. What you're going to do. Life is a short trip. It goes much faster than we can imagine. And in the akhirah we say it's just like a blink of an eye. That's what they say in the akhirah. They say, Kam labithtum yawman aw ba'da yawm. How long did you tarry in the earth? A day or part of a day? That's what it'll seem like. So my advice to myself and all of you is to make tawbah. This is a beautiful night to make tawbah. Nusfu Sha'ban. Make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And open your hearts to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Open your hearts to the rahmah of this deen, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make you vessels of the knowledge of this deen, of the action of this deen, of the joy of this deen, of the beauty of this deen. This religion is so stunningly beautiful that if it's shown to you in all of its ornaments, you just have to weep at the beauty of this religion. The Prophet ﷺ, Imam Ali said, the Prophet said, Al-Islamu uryan. This religion is naked. وَلِبَاسُهُ taqwa. But its garment is taqwa. And when Muslims don't have taqwa, they have exposed the nakedness of this religion. They make it look like a thing that's obscene. And it's not the religion that's obscene, it's the fact that they have stripped it of its ornament, which is taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so people really, take this religion as a serious thing. Allah's commandments are real. Ittaqullaha, have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَقَدْ وَصَّيْنَا الَّذِينَ مِن قَبْلِكُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ أَنِ اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. We told the people that went before you, and we're telling you, be conscious of God. Be aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a good night to look into your heart. Ask yourselves, what have you been doing with your lives? If you've been frivolous, some of you are in school now, I don't know what you've been doing, but if you've been frivolous, take serious. This thing is a serious thing. The journey of life is serious. There's plenty of time for joy and happiness and smiling and all those things, and that's part of life. But there's also real time to be serious, and our religion needs jid, it needs seriousness, it needs ijtihad, it needs a lot of effort. We should have much better materials. Our religion should be much better represented. Our institution should be much more fully funded and far more established than they are in this country. So my hope is that all of you will take that advice seriously. Again, my apologies for any shortcomings. I know I can apologize on behalf of Sidi Yahya and Sidi Faraz and Imam Zaid. I can also, on behalf of the organizers, all those things. You came here. You paid money that's gone to the Deen Intensive. Doesn't have it's not making money. Imam Zayd doesn't take anything. I didn't take anything. There's no we get room and board just like you do. So alhamdulillah, it's a blessing to serve the religion. That's what we're trying to do, and serve it in the best way. We want to also enable more disenfranchised people to be participating in this, people that can't afford to come, and that takes help. So I would encourage all of you, if you benefited from this, to take serious the possibility of helping Aisha and As'ad and the others involved in this, in building up this institution, this organization. This is not part of Zaytuna. It's a separate thing. This is not Zaytuna. It's a completely separate thing. People that want to help Zaytuna, I encourage you. It's your institution. It's for the community. That's what we're doing it for. Nobody remembers John Harvard, right? Unless you know the history of Harvard, nobody remembers John Harvard. 100 years from now, Imam Zayd, Imam Hamza, whoever else, Yahya, we might have some footnotes in the history of Islam in America, something like that. But in the end, people are going to be just like the people from 100 years ago or 50 years ago. We don't really remember them, but the books are here. We remember the great ones. Imam Tahawi's, he's been here for the last 1,000 years. He's not going anywhere. It was an honor to even have my name on the same page with him. Maybe people will be benefiting from that. Maybe somebody will do another translation and Allah gives that qabul and tawfiq, and mine kind of disappears. Somebody like Dr. Omar might dig it up 50 years from now, and there was some guy named Hamza Yusuf, and write something about that. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. That's up to what Allah wants. And what Imam Malik, when he wrote the Muwatta, Ibn Abi Dhi'b wrote a Muwatta. Ibn Abi Dhi'b was kind of a munafis of Imam Malik. They compete. He competed with Malik. Malik wasn't really interested in that. But anyway, I don't want to speak, because Ibn Abi Dhi'b was an alim, but Imam Malik didn't care for him that much. But anyway, he wrote a Muwatta, and then everybody started writing Muwattas. So somebody came to Malik and he said, Katharat al-Muwatta'at. There certainly are a lot of Muwattas these days. And Malik said an amazing thing. He said, ما كان لله دام واتصل وما كان لغير الله انقطع وانفصل. What's for the sake of Allah will remain and be connected. And if it's for other than Allah, it'll be disconnected and dissipate. It's an amazing statement. He didn't say, mine's the one that's going to last, you'll see. He just said, if this was for God, it'll last. Imam Ibn Ajarrum, who wrote one of the most important primers in Arabic, he wrote it in Mecca at the Kaaba. When he finished it, he went back to North Africa, and he was at the ocean, and he took his copy, he bound it up, and then he threw it into the water. And he said, if this is for Allah, nothing will happen to it. And when the wave brought it up, he took it, and the ink hadn't been erased. That was the state of those people. They wanted it for Allah or for nothing. Because if it's not for Allah, it's sabahlala. It's not for anything, really. Everything people build, all these things that people are building, they all go, just like the Romans. You go see the Romans, it's all gone. The Greeks, I've been to the Parthenon, it's gone. They were all there one day, speaking, Demosthenes, giving his speeches. He's gone. They're all gone. But what's for Allah doesn't go. It stays, it remains. And on Yawm al-Qiyamah, that's when everything really is made clear. So my advice to myself and all of you, inshallah, is Just commit your lives to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you do with them. There's so many ways to be committed to God. So many ways. Subhanallah kathira. So, may Allah give you all tawfiq, and, again, anything that you saw from shortcomings, we ask that you veil them. May Allah veil all your shortcomings. Anything that might have displeased you, anything that you heard that might have upset you or anything like that, then one would just ask that you overlook that and forgive. And it's been an honor to be with all of you. May Allah take you all back to your families safe and sound. May Allah enrich your lives and enrich the time that you spent here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the blessings of the good that you heard, and give you the ability to distinguish between what's useful and what's not, and take what's useful and leave what's not. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make all of you and all of us committed to Allah and His Messenger. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite the hearts and keep this ummah united, strengthen this ummah, protect our women and children wherever they are, and make the way easy for people that are in hardship or suffering. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give ease and facilitation to the people in difficult straits, and may Allah make us people that alleviate and not create harm. May Allah make us people that spread peace and not spread discord or sow dissension. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us people that speak the truth and not listen to lies or tell lies. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us people that look at what's good in the world, and make us people that if we see what's wrong in the world, that we see that it's a tribulation from Allah, and give us the ability to change what we can change, and to desire that what we can't change is changed by those who can change it. May Allah give them tawfiq. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah give love of the Prophet. May He give us a vision of the Prophet in our waking states and in our dreams. May He give us love of the Prophet ﷺ. May He fill our hearts with love of the Prophet and of all the Prophets. May He give us the company of the Prophet ﷺ on the Day of Judgment. May He give us the hand of the Prophet ﷺ. May He give us the guidance of the Prophet in this world and in the next. May He give us the greeting of the Prophet ﷺ at the Hawd. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah to give us a drink from the Prophet ﷺ's blessed hand from the Hawd, a drink that will never thirst after that drink. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah give us the glory and the beauty of the vision of our Lord, and may He inshallah put us in that light and give us all of the joy and the happiness that He promised in His book. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the joy of the Prophet ﷺ. May He give us many visitations to the Prophet's masjid and to the Prophet's resting place. May He give us inshallah a desire to serve this religion with all our heart and with all our soul, and with our honor and with our love and our dignity. And may He put rahmah in our hearts and give us rahmah towards our spouses and give us rahmah towards our children. And may He make our children obedient. May He make our children love Allah and His Messenger. May He put love of Allah and His Messenger in our children's hearts. May He marry those who are desiring to be married, and may He protect the marriages of those who are already in marriage. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if there's anyone here that's in any suffering or in any pain or any dissonance, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rectify your heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you peace in your heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove any disquietude from your heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the gift of contemplation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the gift of His remembrance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the light of His remembrance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite your hearts. If you have trouble with your parents, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease that trouble. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring security in your homes and bring joy in your homes. May He bring the light of the Quran into your homes. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala illumine your hearts with the Quran. May He make the Quran the spring of your hearts. May He make the Quran the dispeller of all of your grief and of all of your pain and all of your suffering. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, give you love of Allah and His Messenger. May that love be so firmly rooted in your heart that it'll carry you through any difficulties that you have in your life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy wherever Muslims are suffering. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give ability for the people who are suffering now to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, behind everything that's in this world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them all the joy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ma'rifah in their hearts. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easier for people that are struggling wherever they're struggling. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala end these struggles that so many of the Muslims are experiencing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring peace where there's war. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us peacemakers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us people that know Him by His names, that know Him by His reality. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put that light of knowledge in our hearts. Ya Allah, Ya Rabb al-Alameen, Ya Arham al-Rahimin, Ya Qahar, Ya Jabbar, Ya Aziz, Ya Azim, Ya Hamid, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Arham al-Rahimin, Arhamna wa tub alayna wa tub ala al-Muslimin fi kulli makan. Allahumma tub alayna wa tub ala al-Muslimin fi kulli makan. Allahumma ahsin wuqufana bayna yadayk, Ya Arham al-Rahimin. Allahumma yawm al-Qiyamah ij'al sahaifana fi aymanina, Ya Arham al-Rahimin. Allahumma اجعلنا من المؤمنين حقا واجعلنا كلمات لا إله إلا الله آخر ما نقول في هذه الدار. اللهم اجعل لا إله إلا الله آخر ما نقول في هذه الدار. اللهم اجعل نبينا يا أرحم الراحمين، اجعل نبينا يا الله، اجعل هذا النبي الكريم أعز شيء إلينا في هذه الدنيا. اللهم اجعل محبته في قلوبنا ومكن هذه المحبة في قلوبنا يا أرحم الراحمين. أنت أرحم الراحمين. اللهم بهذه الليلة، اللهم بحرمة هذه الليلة، اللهم بحرمة هذه الليلة استجب لنا. أنت أرحم الراحمين. أنت لا ترد الداعي، أنت لا ترد المسكين، أنت لا ترد المحتاج، أنت لا ترد الفقير، أنت لا ترد المضطر، أنت لا ترد المريض، أنت لا ترد من يطلبك يا أرحم الراحمين. فها نحن، here we are يا رب العالمين, bereft, miskin, impoverished. We have nothing, but we have you and we have everything through you, Ya Allah. So accept our dua on this day, accept our dua on this night. Give us Ramadan, give us the joy of Ramadan, give us a month of fasting and Quran, give us a month of Qiyam, Ya Arham Ar-Rahimeen. Allahumma bless all of these women, strengthen them, strengthen their hearts, increase them, give them modesty, give them love of Allah and His Messenger, Ya Allah. Allahumma protect them wherever they go, protect their children if they have children, give them children when they want children. Allahumma, we ask you to bless all these men, all these people that came. If they came with other than a sound niyyah, give them a sound niyyah, give them love of good niyyah in their hearts. If they came for something else, give them what you want from all of us, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Allahumma aslih niyyatina, Ya Allah. Allahumma rectify our hearts and our intentions, Ya Allah. بحق السائلين عليك. Ya Allah, Anta a'taytana haqqan, Ya Allah. You've given us a right that we have no right to. You're the giver of rights, but you've given us a right we have no right to. By our right that you've given us, Allah, astajib lana, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Allahumma salli wa sallam وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. الحمد لله.